Genesis chapter 1, verses 24. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And Elohim made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. Continue verse 26, the creation of man. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own singular, own image. And the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. And Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. What's going on, everybody? My name is Christopher Jackson, Sola Scriptura. The reason why I start with this short passage in Genesis is because I was just watching a video by the channel Answers in Genesis. Founder is Ken Ham. Check out his Creation Museum in Kentucky whenever you have the time. In this video it was a sermon, actually. I think it was about an hour long, 58 minutes or so, hour long sermon, where there was a recap. The man, I figure it was his son, was recapping a situation where his son was in public school and was reading a science book, and the science book started talking about dinosaurs. Now, we all know, those who have attended public school, that is in America, is that when the science books start talking about dinosaurs, they're going to start referring to millions and millions of years. 65 million years ago, they went extinct. Meteor hit the earth and wiped them all out. Okay, and even if you go back a little further, I'm knowledgeable about this. So if you go back a little further, starts talking about the earth is, I think, 5.6 billion years old. And the numbers are always changing, seemingly every year or every other year. And the age of the universe is around 6.5 billion years. But those numbers are always changing. And going back to the dinosaurs, after the dinosaurs, then came the single-cell organisms, multi-cell organisms, became fish, became reptiles, became either reptiles or amphibians, and those became either mammals, and then birds and everything, and then eventually human beings, even though we cannot find any links. Where are the missing links? They are the bones. I read from a Ray Comfort's book, the little book that I always post every so often, is that if there was actually bones representative of those missing links, then the thickness of the earth would be stacked so high, probably around like 5 miles thick or something like that. I forget the actual number. But so now the story, the situation, again, the son talking to his father, and the son, he was angry. He became angered at the science book, saying, "Hey, what's up with this?" And millions of years, I read in the book of Genesis, I read in the Bible that that Elohim, which is God, created animals after its kind. So why you got dinosaurs evolving into this and evolving into this, and then eventually became human beings? Monkeys became human beings, or apes and all this. And the father says, no, we read it, but we don't take that. No, we don't believe that. We believe the Bible. This fantastic parenting. But do not throw the Bible, do not throw the book away, the science book away, because there's still some good stuff in there. We talking about like the blood and this and the structure, the physiology of mankind, for example. What's out there in space. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I like it. I still like reading science books from time to time, science, geography, archaeological books, and so and he understood teaching his son, hopefully, that this is a lesson in discernment. But also, I want to make mention of is this is what happens when we have books in what many dub as the public indoctrination camps. They have their books that just really give no purpose to humankind, no purpose to mankind whatsoever. I mean, if we're just all space dust, like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, we evolved from a primordial ooze, and that ooze, was some billions of years ago. Well, mankind is like some hundreds, thousands of years old, and it's an old Earth idea, and all of this stuff that just cannot be supported by science, even though it's right there. The child says, "Hey, this is a lie in the books that's being pushed." Whereas creationism, the truth of creationism has been shunned. The belief in a higher authority, someone greater than ourselves, has been shunned. This is where we come in the case of Leah Thomas, born Will Thomas, a biological male competing with women. In this, again, Will Thomas and even Caitlyn Jenner, who was transgender, for Bruce Jenner, the Olympic athlete, in the 70s and 80s, I believe, it came out and said, the size of a man's hands, bone structure, strength, all of this, lung capacity, everything. Even Will, did you know that homeboy is 6'5"? I didn't even know that until I saw this video. It's wild. I didn't even until I watched this today. Homeboy is 6'5". The average woman is, I think, 5'6", or shorter than that. The average man is 5'8". He's 6'5". That's a basketball player. That's either a shooting guard or a small forward in the NBA. But I digress. So now, with this person, again, Caitlyn Jenner, transgender. I recall Blair White, if you know that person, also transgender, male to female, has come out and spoken about this stuff. Like, I don't want to be associated with any of that foolishness. All the people in the streets, parading and protesting and holding up signs, and it's transgender women are real women, and Caitlyn Jenner won an ESPY, and Will Thomas won a Woman of the Year, and Will Thomas won a NCAA championship for competing as a woman. And all of these things, is woke stuff, is really like somebody made mention of so simple. If they are real people, a real person that they think that they are, that they feel that they are, what are they transitioning from? They still have the adjective of trans, the descriptive word trans. So what are you trans? Trans denotes movement, moving from this to that. I'm transitioning from this to that. I'm transforming. You get the picture. But in a purposeless society where, by the way, this is supposed to be like Mental Health Awareness Month or something. Interesting. But in regards to the mental health and the emotional health, and is of the Will Thomas, Leah, his teammates in the University of Penn, is their voices, those female voices, are constantly being suppressed. And they actually had a representative, a psychiatrist, so from that community, came in and said what the college saying, we're going to put our foot down about this. It's non-negotiable. Leah Thomas will compete as a woman because he feels, I don't know. I'm confused. You can see that. But so we're going to put our foot down, and we're going to bring in the psychiatrist so that you normal people who feel wrong about this, so therefore you're bigots and transphobes and all this other stuff because you're thinking critically, you're thinking rationally, you're using logic and science, and even Caitlyn Jenner understands this is logical and scientific. Like you cannot change your biology, you cannot change your chromosomes. It's impossible. The outward appearance does not affect the end, what's going on inside, really. So, you're born a man, you're gonna die a man. You're born a woman, you're gonna die a woman. There are hermaphrodites out there, but it's a slim, very, very slim percentage. So the psychiatrists coming in and suppressing their thoughts, suppressing their words of protest, and trying to get them to get on board with the university, or else they're gonna lose the scholarship. So this again is a purposeless life, because we evolved and we can constantly, we're still evolving, we're still changing our thoughts and changing our feelings, and now it's facts over feelings. Feelings over facts are. And so whatever you feel like, well, tomorrow I might feel like this. We got the party, the administration that says believe the science, trust the science, but yet this stuff is going on. It's confusing. And who is the author of confusion? That's right. We already know. But with this stuff going on, I only believe it's just going to continue to get worse. Their voices are being suppressed. His female teammates are getting suppressed. How they truly feel with him being in the locker room, their thoughts are being suppressed. The parents who were protesting, the parents who protested at the NCAA championship, their voices are being suppressed. All because of the small percentage in this country, in the United States, millennials and Generation Z in particular, are saying we want this to go down. Our Supreme Court made it possible. The president from 2 administrations ago made this possible. So now we want this stuff to be push, and even the fantastic thing, I know this video is going long, but the reason why I bring this up is because that one of his teammates from UPenn went to Matt Walsh, who has an interesting little book called Johnny and the Walrus, about a child who thought he was a walrus, and then the mother raised him to be a walrus, and then put all this, and the child was uncomfortable and realized how much hard work it is, and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna be a boy, because I'm a boy. I was born a boy. So that one of the female teammates went to Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire and made her voice known, but unfortunately, that person was in a blackened room. Voice was altered. Cannot see who it is. So, and this is the kind of protection, I would say, that is necessary, because we all know, or we should at least know, that if that person was to just come out like a live video like me with the light right on my face, and you can see who I am, and if you don't see who I am, then you know who's talking. The mob would have came at that person with fire, with all intensity. We got to get back to the book. I know people throughout the decades, they pushed to get this book taken out of schools, prayer taken out of schools, the belief in the higher authority higher than ourselves, who gives our governments their power, who is actually the author and finisher of our faith, the author of even our emotions. Why do I do what I do? Why am I doing this? Why do I feel a certain way about good and evil? About if I see a person doing wrong, why do I want to intervene and help the person who's being wronged? That's why. We can't deny these things, but yet people have been denying them for the past probably 2 or 3 decades. 3 decades. Slowly but surely. And again, the purposelessness of this humanity, it doesn't just start with Charles Darwin and his Origin of Species. It goes back further than that. to the beginning of the postmodern era. We got to get back to the book, or else having strayed so far away from the book, just people are just going to be saying, you know what, because I don't have any purpose in his life, and the person in front of me doesn't have any purpose in his life, and not just that person over there. We're just space dust. We're just random atoms fizzing and bumping into each other. Well, what's the harm if I just take his wallet, or if I just... We gotta get back to the book, because it's the only truth that truly matters in this world. Until next time.